Well, hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Ultra, where we take one day, 5 chapters, and over a course of about 100 days, we are making our way all the way, almost halfway through the Bible. And I was doing the intro, seeing how many times I could say way. So I said it way. Let's go, baby. Anyways, Luke, glad to have you with us. Way glad to have you with us. But I do want to.
Let's eat some courage and whey.
Hey, well, I do want to maybe talk a little bit about what we have. So we have been through Genesis, Exodus, Joshua, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st Kings, Ruth, Esther, Psalms, and now we're on Proverbs. After we get done with Proverbs, we're almost done with the Old Testament. We got Daniel, Ezekiel, Jonah, Nahum, and Hosea left. And then in the New Testament, we're going to do everything but the Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and Revelation. So we got a lot to go, but we have a lot behind us too. So that being said, today we are in Proverbs 16 through Proverbs 20. I just want to maybe speak about one particular chapter, and that is verse 20. It says, "Those who listen to instruction will prosper. Those who trust the Lord will be joyful." And I don't know if this is hard for you, Luke, but it's hard for me. Listening to instruction. And it says that if you listen to instruction, you'll prosper. Because I'm a prideful person, and I think I can do it myself, whatever, figure it out myself. And I've had some, I've shared with you, I've had some critics in my day. So, you need to do it like this, and you do it a little different, whatever. And so, you have to listen to what God's calling you, but you also have to listen to instruction too, and try to take it with a good heart. Be humble enough to accept criticism and to accept, maybe correction over a certain thing. And so that really spoke to me, and that's I can just think of a bunch of examples, and that's definitely been something hard to do. So, anyways, maybe what did you get out of these couple of chapters?
I'm in trouble with that right now. Melanie's mad
Fair
because
point.
she said I don't receive instruction well. She's dead on, which is rare if you're watching this, Melanie. I'm admitting it. I tend to, want to do it myself as well. So I'm with you on that. I got a verse here that's just, to me, it's like you could make a whole movie out of this, an action movie actually. Verse 7 and 16, it says, "When a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him." And I wrote down, they don't even know what hit them in
Say that
letters
again.
as it got bigger.
What verse?
16:7, when a man's ways please the Lord, and that's all capital
yeah.
letters, Lord. We'll talk
Yeah.
about that later maybe, as to
Yeah.
why that is.
Let's talk about it now.
Okay.
Why is that capitalized?
It's the Lord, obviously, but when you see all capital letters Lord, at least in the King James Version, which is what I'm reading and what I usually read, there's a little bit of history that I go over. I'm a nerd about some of this stuff. The actual name Yahweh is not his real name. His real name is Yahweh. His name's Yahweh, but the Jews would not write the vowels because his name is so holy. And when I think about that, I think, how do we treat the holiness of God today? They wouldn't even write, when you saw it written, what I'm trying to get at, originally it would be YHWH. We write it as YHWEH because we've let culture do whatever. But they saw his name is so holy, they called him, they wouldn't put the vowels when they wrote his name. And when there's references through theologians I've studied that say, these are the times, for some reason, for whatever reason, in that writing, in that verse, it was like a stronger nod or a more holy reverent bow to the name of the Lord in that reference in the verse.
So I pulled up on my computer real quick, the name of God. So I don't know, maybe if I can zoom in on this and see it, but it's just right, it's right here. And Luke, if you want to kind of look at that, and this kind of is a nod to exactly what you're saying. That's not a consonant in that, right? Because in the Hebrew, you know this, but all the consonants are down below or up above. That's how they write them. And this is how they would write the name. No consonants, no nothing above, no nothing below. So that's a fair point, and it goes to how dismissively we just throw the name of God around. But I think, to your point, it's when people's lives please Yahweh, the Lord, even their enemies are at peace about them. If you want to maybe just kind of tackle that.
If you can think about the statement, they don't even know what hit them. They don't even realize there was a battle. If you're following things to please the Lord, because it says God makes them be at peace with you. They don't even know they want to be at peace. But when God handles it, it's handled.
That's a good point.
It's amazing. Oh, I don't know how to do that. Well, let me read it again. When a man's ways please the Lord. Simple to say, sometimes hard to do. Please the Lord. Try to please the Lord in how you live and everything you do.
I'm not trying to, take us all the way to the New Testament, but we should read the Old Testament in light and have in our mind the New. And so what does Jesus say? He hangs all the law and the prophet, because I think sometimes we make that so complicated. How do I please the Lord? How to do this? He says it's just two things. That's all you got to do. You just got to love God, the heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. And if you do that, I'm telling you, if you do those two things, then even your enemies will be at you got it.
That's right.
You got it.
2 verses.
2 verses.
2 commandments.
2 verses.